Hello and welcome to my TED Talk. My name is Vincent and I would like us to start with a question today. I want you all to look at me and think of the first thing that comes to your mind. What assumptions have you made and what are your observations? What would you think of me if I walked towards you on the street? I want you to think really deep about this. Hold that thought for a minute. Now, how have your assumptions changed since the first time? What is the first characteristic that comes to your mind? How would you react if you saw me in public? As you might have guessed from this short introduction, I am going to be talking about prejudice and bias. In other words, living in the black and white world of assumptions today. Assumptions. So we all make assumptions, right? I myself have made various assumptions since I've begun with this presentation today. In my opinion, making assumptions is to a certain extent natural and kind of a survival tactic. There are 8 billion people on this planet. No one has time to get to know everyone. And well, if you think about it, in some situations, it might also be a bit inappropriate to lead with questions. I think that when it comes to making assumptions, there is only one thing you must keep in your mind, and that is how you approach these assumptions and how you approach people as well. Let me tell you a brief story about a severely handicapped man going into a restaurant that is packed with people. As soon as he gets through the door, people start staring at him. In a couple of seconds, you'll notice that everyone is staring at him. One can't be sure about a lot of things in situations like this, but one thing is for sure. People are making or have already made assumptions about the person. Some of the other guests might feel sorry for him, while others might start making up stories about what happened to him. And well, there are sadly also people who think to themselves, ew, oh my God, he's so ugly. He should hide from society. Why is he even here? I'm sure that at this point, even though you're not physically there, you've made your own assumptions. Think about them. Now, what would you say if I told you that this severely handicapped person was no one else than Stephen Hawking, one of the greatest physicists to ever exist? Of course, I wouldn't be talking about this topic if I wouldn't have some personal experience with it. I take the 6 o'clock train to school every day, and I get on the train and I see people staring at me. In the beginning, I didn't really think much to it, but as it started to get more usual, many thoughts have started to run over my head. I started to ask questions like, why are people staring at me? What is wrong with me? Is it my clothes, my piercings? What about me is bothering people? Is it that I'm a boy who's wearing earrings? Is it my gestures or simply the way I present myself? Quite frankly, there have been some cases where I questioned if I had pants on because I simply couldn't think of a better reason for why people would be staring at me. And unfortunately, there have also been times, for example, when I was walking in the city and people would, for example, be shouting at me. Or in some extreme cases, it got to a point where people would chase me. I assumed I was in danger. And well, people have made assumptions about me too. People assume, and as I have mentioned, it's not necessarily a bad thing. However, you shouldn't let those assumptions influence your actions until you don't have any proof to back your theories up. People are going to be people, and so are you. There is nothing you can do about it. But TED Talk is about spreading ideas, and I want to for all to spread the idea of coming from a place of curiosity. It not only helps us to be more respectful and more intentional, but it also helps us to create stronger communication. And in my personal experience, it can help you manage your inner stress much better. Ask questions if you can. Try to get to know people before judging them. Instead of assuming, try coming from a place of curiosity. Pose questions and get to know people, because I believe that knowing somebody is real power. And with that, I would like to thank you for your attention, and I wish you a nice day.